Hello everyone, it's Caroline. Welcome to my craft room. It is a tiny room that has a short little closet there, and then it goes up and there's another closet beside it. Nothing like getting right into the tour. Just gonna get this little spot out of the way here. And then, so that's the main closet, and it's quite tiny. This closet here is for the vacuum, and also has just some utility things in there, so nothing really exciting. We have, you can see the pitched roof here, so we have that roof line upstairs here. So it gives you a little bit of a challenge as far as extra space, but this has worked out really, really well for us. Let me get into the closet here first. I'll just show you quickly. This closet here is always a work in progress. First, I'll just take you up here. There's a shelf, and we have extra soft bags up there that we keep. Now on this particular shelf here, I have IKEA the soft bins that were in a drawer before, and now they're in here. And I just have kind of overflow, isn't that funny to say that, overflow items. So I have extra glue and papers, and right there are the old photos and some slides that I actually dug everything out and emptied the bin because it only had a few items. So I took them out, and those are from my mom's neighbor that lived beside them in Florida. So there's some really cool photos in there, and I've already used some of them. And then down here I have a bin. Oh, I'm gonna kneel down here. That bin has some sewing items and my big printed out patterns. I never took them out when we moved, so I figured that would be a good spot to keep them. And I haven't really sewn anything for a little while, so they're fine there. There's some magazines and catalogs that I'm using right now. I just put them in there. That is my bag that I take when we go visiting. And my ironing board's there. Now this table here, I'll tell you in a second. This storage in here, I'm a big believer in storage, in closet storage, if I can. But I have this tall plastic storage bin that has my paints in it. And then a bag of yarns, and I have that in there too. So, you know, it's always hidden in there, but I like it because it's neat and I can come in and get what I need. I have some gloves and just some plastic lids and stuff that I can use as pallets. So that's that. And then on the back of the door, I just recently got this organizer, and the ceiling's quite tall for me anyway, but the organizer here has, well, it has these plastic storage. They're like little extra large baggies, but they're more sturdy, and they have my tissue paper, some stamps, or not stamps, sorry, but stencils, and some of them are still empty because I am still organizing things that I frequently use and that I don't have to go diving into the closet for. So that's that part of the room. Now my room is very mismatched. It's furniture that's been, I'll kind of explain to you, but like this couch here, we had this in our home before we moved here. It does fold out. It's an IKEA couch, and it folds out into a queen size bed. So this is great because when we have extra little ones or just extra couples, we can comfortably put somebody in here and have a nice overnight sleepover. I made this just willy-nilly with some what do you call them, acrylic paints, and I really like the way it turned out. And actually I took a print of it too, and I think I used it in one of my journals, but so I like that stays there. And what else do we have here? Okay, right over here. This was for outside originally, but I brought it in, just a bird hanger, and I put my wooden embroidery hoops on there. And this here was the first tassel dangle thing that I ever made, and I really like it, and I just haven't used it yet in a journal, so it just kind of hangs there. All just scraps. And so we'll just sort of keep on going over here. There's a little nook right underneath our attic. Never went up there. Don't really like attics, but anyway. So this here is a tall, this is again IKEA furniture, but this was in our daughter's room when she was a little girl, and it held up really well. So it was always then afterwards when she didn't need it anymore and moved, I kept it as a craft dresser. So it has fabric. Actually, in the last two drawers I have fabric in there, and this drawer here, I won't open it because it just has personal items and documents and whatnot. Nothing exciting. This one here too, I mean, my drawers aren't very, they could be more organized, but this has just journals that I'm working on, just random things. Yeah, random things actually. It's a good thing to say, just bits and pieces. This drawer here has, I figured out that I like to keep my stamps here. I have my stamps here, and I have just things that are upright, like my coffee, my thick coffee mixture here that I can put my brush in and use. Got a couple of stamps. I have cards and envelopes and that I keep there, and just overflow. Again, another overflow. I don't know what else to call it, but it's supplies. So, and there's my journal that I'm working on right now. I put it here so it stays out of the way. I know where it is. I can grab it really handy. I did clean up today. It was my cleaning day, so I thought, well, I'm just going to do this. And because you know how the paper crumbs get on the floor. Now this drawer here is, what is here? Oh yes, it's papers and cardboard and stuff that's just kind of ready for me to grab to make a journal. I am starting another journal. Oops, sorry. Not very good at filming this. I'm starting another journal, and it is from, I'll explain later, but it's just, you know, how we do it. Recycled fabrics and items from the kitchen. Cardboard food box. And then I have cards and envelopes in here. These are actually cards that I do use, but old envelopes also. Then I have some more and my Mod Podge, and just a couple empty squirt bottles, one with water that I like to have. Some slow stitching things that I have in here that I haven't used yet. I'm not going to bring that out. And and then just a basket of random old jewelry and little doodads. And then the last two drawers are fabric. So that's that corner there. And then on top of here, which you can't really see, that is a toll painted chest that I made. Well, it does have the date on there. Do I have my glasses on? Let me see if I can tell you when I made this. Oh, I made it in 2003. There it is right there. So I did that. And in here I have ribbons and some lace. I'm quite stocked. I have some embellishments that I harvested off some thrifted and given clothing. Let me explain that. Some of the clothing that I bought that was thrifted I didn't pay much, because I'm not going to pay $20 for something that, you know, that I'm just going to cut apart, although it would be worth it if it had lots of great appliques and whatnot. But the given things were tops that my mom had, but she was not using or wearing anymore. So I took off the fun things from them and I can use those as elements, embellishments, and whatnot. And there's my, this clock here has been through the ringer, but it still keeps going. It lost its cover, and where the these are just little pearl things that I glued on just to keep it. I mean, it's a clock, it ticks. You can hear it in the background when I'm talking to you. Sometimes it kind of drives me crazy, but I like to look at the time, and I don't always have my watch on my wrist, so that's there. This wall, I don't have any decorations in here, but that's okay. I'm not coming in here to stare at the walls either. A candle, which I do like to put on. Another box that has jewelry, doodads, you know, things that might be useful for my journaling. Elastics and that. And just a box here that I like. Goes with the clock. And then over here, this here is, so that my dresser is recycled because it was our daughter's, so I kept that. This here is my, we'll call it my art cart, because, and this was my salon. It was at my salon, one of them, my personal cart that I used to keep my supplies in at right beside my station. Well, and it still has a blow dryer. I do not have a heat tool, but I use the blow dryer to, you know, that works fine on low, high setting. It is a, I don't know, it's an 1875 watt, so I think it's got enough. It does what I need it to do. And then on here is all my, well, some of the things that I'm using right now. Inks, and I have just a recycled cottage cheese or sour cream container that I put my pens and pencils and things like that. And then each drawer has, as everyone knows, you know, paints, and got a couple little wipes. I have some paints that I'm using right now. I have a drawer of my stamps that I'm using. This is my scrap storage book that I'm working on, and then another bag down there with papers and things like that. Then I have this shelf here. I'll move back, and this shelf was a it's kind of all IKEA, isn't it? It was an IKEA shelf that was in our son's room, and it was pine. I painted it white when he moved out. I kept it. He didn't want to take it with him, so I kept it, and it became my sort of my craft shelf here. Then I have these two little art things up there, and then I'm going to just go slow here. Over there was 4 in a set. I bought those at Pier 1 when they were in existence, and I had those in my salon because they were inspirational. So I had those, and I kept them, and I have some baskets up here on the shelf with washi tape and different ribbons. I have a little tiny hot glue gun up there, and, you know, just different things. There's couple of my journals up there. Here are some containers with these containers here. I've had these since I moved out into my apartment when I was 21. My mom gave these to me, and I still have them, and they have odds and ends in there. This was my mom's government, her government tag. She wasn't in the force or anything, it's just as a government worker, that's what they had. But anyway, then here we have again essentials, paintbrushes. I have large office brads. Here I have some dangles that I had made, and I just keep them there. A box of ephemera, some clips, and there's some, you know, what are these called? Bells. Bells that I put on. Sometimes I put those on my dangles. And then I bought this thing here. It's, you know, it's for your shop, but it's for anything. It's got such good force. It's a huge magnet. And I just keep my large paper clips and whatever in there. More pencils and pens, my Arteza pencils. And over here I have Nothing Matches. nothing matches, and it's all piecemeal together, but I love it because it's just recycled. I recycled this this cardboard box when we first moved in to put in, and I do have some kind of order in there. I have labeled some file folders, and I have different things in there. I have some old stuff. This here has some stamps. I have actually something that I'm doing with this the big wad of stamps that my brother gave me. I'm working on that. I have, this was our daughter's also, and I kept that, and I've just put my papers and books right now. This thing here, this basket, this is what I have my scraps right now that I'm working with. This was Tara's also, but we shared those, and now I have them, and the kids play with those when they come over. More journals and food coloring book. I have a sewing ham, a pressing ham, and I made myself a, what do you call it? Oh, I can't think what it's called right now. The wooden block that you use to press. I can't think what it's called. Anyway. Sewing baskets. They don't really have anything in them. My mom bought them, and I took those. And then I have books here that I harvest from. They were all either $1 or 5 for $1. I did not pay very much money for them at all. Over the years, I just bought those. Some of these I've had anyway, but so that's that shelf there in the corner. And then I have Dolly here, my doll form that I use when I'm sewing for myself. I bought her from Facebook Marketplace, oh gee, quite a while ago now, and I only paid, maybe $25, and she was barely used. The lady had a sewing shop and she didn't want it anymore. There's my new light, my new task light. Oh, I'm going to show you outside for a second. Let me see here. Let me just raise this up. Can you still see the snow? Yes, it's starting to melt, but the hillside still has snow on it. So does this part of the roof. That's okay. We're going to get in double digits coming up. So I'll leave that up. Oh, and here is my fancy apparatus that I use for filming. And what this is it's okay, let me explain this. I went to, I looked online for ideas. I went on Pinterest and everything to try and find a very inexpensive way and just to recycle, because I wasn't in a hurry to do it. What do you call it? A stand for my camera, for my phone, or my iPad. So I bought this. This is the base of one of those task lamps, desk lamp. And I actually, I screwed it into this part of the desk here. And then up here, I have, what I did was I glued the bottom of an old, my iPad base, and it fits my iPad in it, and then it also fits my phone. And I have this piece of foam here, and I just rest it on there. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm not very good at filming. So that's my sort of, my funny way of recycling. And I put these foam, they're just foam, they were in a package, to absorb the echo, because a lot of times what I like, if these weren't on, and you could hear the echo in the springs. So I came up with that idea. Figured I have to soften that sound. And then here I have, again, nothing matches, just some recycled containers from the kitchen with my things that I'm using right now. This is from my childhood sewing room. My mom had, I have it now. This too. And then This is a little tiny filing cabinet that I painted. I painted everything white. Everything was mismatched in different colors, so I just chalk painted everything, and every once in a while I give it a coat. Oh, my garbage can that needs to be emptied. This is the sewing bench that I sit on, and it went with, and it was dark too when well, needs some loving here, but that went with my mom's sewing machine, my grandmother that I never met. And but the sewing machine, I think I told you a story about that. Anyway, it left, and I kept the bench. So I even painted the fabric. I covered the seat and I painted the fabric. And then the rest of this is just a sewing bench. I call it a bench. No, what's it called? Sewing desk with the top that flips out, and it's resting on top of those filing cabinets. So I just have that like that all the time. My sewing machine, my serger, which I just have to get a cover for it because the thread cones are getting dusty. So, oh, you're not supposed to see my dusting rag. And then over here, oh, here's a board with my kids and me. That's me. That's my brother and my dad. Oh, so cute. There's me with my mom and my dad. Oh, great memories. That's my husband as a baby. There he is as a hockey player. And there I am on my bicycle. Anyway, okay, that's great. There is this is my sewing machine that I use for my crafts. So this sewing machine here is strictly for my clothes, my garments that I sew, and then this one is for my crafts. And it works like a charm. It's good and heavy, and $20 I paid for it. Perfect. Some shelves that I put here in the corner because, again, with this particular pitched roof, it's hard to fit anything there, but I put those shelves. Some books. These were my mom's gardening, some of them were my mom's gardening books that I took, and I can use those. There's a tin can that I have my scissors and some couple things that I decoupaged on. And there's my rusty bits and fussy cuts and just some, you know, things like that. I can't even think of what everything's called. Oh yes, and here's my, I'm just gonna grab this, show you. My vintage, I made this, Vintage Market. It's all with royalty-free images, and I made that up, and it's just a self-inking, and it works great. And then I just had another one made that has vintage on it, and I got these at Vistaprint. Vistaprint is who I used when I had my website, when I had my business, and my business cards. So I figured, yeah, I'm gonna still use them. Then in this corner that has really no reason to be there, but it's empty, I have my typewriter, my embossing machine, and my my cutter, paper cutter. So I just keep those there. Easy to grab when I need them. And then here is, okay, pardon the paint job. I wanted to, they were clear drawers, and I just gave them a quick coat of paint. This was a couple of years ago when we first moved in, so I didn't have to see what was inside the drawers, because I know what's in the drawers. And but it's not too bad. It's fine for now. You know, when you stand back like this, I just like everything to, nothing matches, but I want everything the same color. And then on here I have a couple of my journals, a little lamp that does work. And this has a couple of vintage postcards in it, my spool of twine, and my stapler, and my tape, that has to be repainted. I just painted those gold just for fun. So that's that. That is my craft space. Oh, the other thing too is when I want extra room, I just got this and it's not out right now because I tucked it away, but right here in this corner, when I want extra surface, when I want extra surface space, I have a little table. It's a camping table or just an outdoor table that it folds up in like 2 seconds. It's wobbly, but I mean, you wouldn't do anything intricate on it, but it's great because I can put my big green cutting mat on it. It's the same size and it's the same height. It's the same height as this here. So kind of L shapes. And then I can just, do some, like when I need a bigger surface, I can just use that. So it's tucked away in the closet right now. And this is nice because when we do have guests, then with the bed out, it gives enough space and it doesn't look all cramped and, a little more spacious. So that's the work area. Oh, and there's my printer down there on the bottom of that little tabletop. Yeah. So that is the hillside craft room. Thanks, everybody. There's a little pink blanket that I made. I just use that when I'm sitting. It's just on my lap if I want. This thing is funny too. The saying is beautiful. And I lost an R, but I had that in my closet forever. I bought it years and years ago shopping with some friends, and then I found it and I said, oh, I better take it out. And I guess I lost a letter, but it's not too bad. So, because that's my little space and lots of memories, and so that's it. Well, thank you. Well, and the next time I see you, I will be sitting at my craft spot here with my blind wide open and looking outside when I can, getting inspiration, and I hope you do too. Be adventurous and stay cozy. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone.